Unreal Engine 5.7 preview is out, and with it comes the new built-in AI Assistant. Now, I had very high hopes for this one. Let's just say experimental is a good way of phrasing this thing. Now, this video is a little bit different than my usuals. I am going to show you how to enable AI Assist if you want to play it for yourself. And then I will show you my first experience as I went in and actually tested this thing and tried to use it with PCG, and then a little bit of blueprint stuff as well, and my experience with it. So whether you like or don't like this video, let me know in the comments so I know whether to make more like this in the future for things that are not specifically tutorials, or whether you don't want to see these ever again. But with that, let me show you how to enable the AI Assistant. To do that, of course, load up the 5.7 preview, then go to Edit Plugins, and then just search AI, and turn on the AI Assistant. As you might imagine, it is experimental, very much so. Once it is enabled, restart your engine, and then you will see it under Window, AI Assistant, or as it's already gone a hotkey, Alt F1 will bring this up. Now, this is very important, because this is a bug that I discovered, which you will see shortly, and that is if you have nothing selected and nothing typed, it has not done anything, and you press to add a new conversation here in the top left, watch what happens here. Click, it turns to UEFN. Now it says ask anything about UEFN. If I press plus again, that's it. You're stuck in UEFN now. And the only way to get back is to close the entire thing, go back to Window, AI Assistant, and now you're back to for Unreal Engine. So I missed this when I first was trying this out. I clicked the plus button just to see, hey, can we do multiple tabs or whatever else? No, you can't, but it does save it as long as you're logged in. What happened was I started effectively with UEFN at the beginning. If you want to see the confusion and all that, continue watching along. Otherwise, if you want to skip right to me using the Unreal Engine version, then go to this timestamp. Otherwise, let's see what I thought of it all. Ask anything about Unreal. Here we go. So by using Epic Developer Assistance, you agree to the terms and have read our privacy policy. I'm sure everyone has read the Epic privacy policy. Absolutely. This is an AI tool and can make mistakes. Verify outputs. I cannot zoom this. For Unreal Editor for Fortnite. I'm sorry, what do you mean for Unreal Editor for Fortnite? Because Fortnite uses UEFN. Ask anything about you. I don't care about UEFN. Why are we getting UEFN here? Well, let's find out. Where do we go with? Is this only for UEFN or the full version? Let's see how fast it is. Okay, this is taking quite a while for a basic answer. Unreal Editor for Fortnite UEFN is a specialist version of Unreal Engine, but I'm not using this in UEFN. I'm not using this in UEFN, but rather in 5.7 preview. Wait, where did you even send the message? Oh, down below. It doesn't auto scroll. Sorry, I can't answer your question. Please rephrase it and try again. So it is not a chatbot. You cannot have a conversation with it. You can only ask it questions. Okay, learned. How do I make a wooden fence with BCG? You might find these useful. Memory sequence device and scene events. Is this right now currently just for UEFN? Because if it is, it's gonna be useless. Create a wooden fence using procedure content generation in 5.7 preview, not UEFN. Okay, so it noted that it's not UEFN. You should use these PCG frameworks and blueprints. Or maybe it's saying that because it thinks I'm in UEFN, and this is how you do it in the I don't know. As verse, scripting, and Fortnite specific devices are not available in the standard Unreal Engine. We're gonna look at what it does here, and I'm gonna check and do the same thing on Grok, and I'm gonna compare. Let's see what it says. Set up a graph. Add a PCG graph asset to your project. Right-click Content Browser, Miscellaneous, PCG Graph. Said miscellaneous. No. So already, it is wrong. Step 1, it is wrong. It's under PCG Graph. Step 1 is wrong. Can I correct it? There is no miscellaneous PCG Graph option. Why don't I just tell it? There is no option. I'll think about it. But this has been terrible. Okay. We'll continue on while it's generating and thinking about the other stuff. In your PCG Graph, add a grid sampler. Guys, does create points grid sound like a grid sampler? 2 for 2. Failed. Select meshes. Choose or import the wooden fence meshes, okay. Add a spawn actor / static mesh node after your sampler, assigning to your fence mesh. So what it wants to do is use this and use a static mesh spawner right after it. Oh my god. Set transform modifiers. Use the transform nodes in the PCG graph to adjust position, rotation, and scaling to ensure the fence panels align and space correctly. So really, it wants me to use a transform nodes, which doesn't exist. Okay, so effectively, this has been garbage. This has been worse than I could have ever imagined. What has it said about the corrections? Okay, in Unreal 7 preview, if you do not see PCG graph option under miscellaneous in the content browser, it may not be enabled by default. When has it ever been enabled by default? Edit plugins, search for PCG, turn it on, restart the editor after enabling. Okay, so this is correct. Create a PCG graph asset. Now you should see PCG graph under miscellaneous. No, it's not under miscellaneous. Are you sure it's supposed to be there? So this has been garbage so far. I hate to say it. So this is Grok. Okay, it took 35 seconds. Prerequisites. Edit plugins, search for PCG, enable it. Okay, create a new project, create a whole project, create a PCG graph. In the content, right click empty folder, and then go to PCG graph, correct. Double click PCG fence gen to open the PCG graph editor. And then it's telling me how to set up grammar. It's giving me a grammar setup, not a basic like spline and attach a mesh. It's giving me grammar. This is why I go to Grok, because Grok's search is insane for Unreal. It gives you the whole like graph setup here under parameters. It tells you adding grammar, make it a grammar string, correct. Enter this as the grammar string. Get spline data, add grammar attribute, get from the input node and get spline data node. Point is, it's giving me a lot of information here and very good, even for the grammar, which is great. Thank you for clarifying. Unreal 5.7 preview, the PCG graph asset may not be listed under miscellaneous category. Epic has made UA changes in recent PCG releases. Right click content browser, look for PCG category. PCG graph. May also use the content browser. Okay, all of the original steps were incorrect and do not exist as the nodes they said they should be. I mean, let's see if it can correct itself. What to do for PCG and Unreal 5% for you. Nail the plugin, choose PCG category, so now it knows. The node list and naming convention may have changed in 5.7 preview. Main nodes like grid sampler has never been a thing. May now be called. When I first read this, if you watched the live stream or the video where I went over going over, just the roadmap, the thing that I said here was it's not a matter of if it can search, it's a matter of how good is it search, because searching is a bare minimum now. And if it doesn't know, if it cannot search, because this is almost not even searching, because it has never been this as far as I can remember, or if it was this, it was like in the very beginning version. Oh, my only guess. In either case, let's say I give it the benefit of the doubt, and let's say I'm like, okay, I understand the nodes at once. This is still not the correct way to make a fence. This is still wrong, and it's not very like the details here are not very helpful. Even of the original one, which was a little bit more set in stone, I would basically create a grid of fence meshes, right? Because all I'm using is a create points grid, transforming them so I can rotate them or move them around, but it doesn't make a fence. So for PCG, this seems really, really, really bad. Okay, we're going back here because now it says for Unreal Engine. It doesn't be earlier. It said for Unreal Engine for Fortnite. Now it's for Unreal Engine. Okay, we'll pretend none of this stuff beforehand happened. We'll start again. How do I make a fence using PCG? Let's see what it tells me. It's not screaming at me this time. Okay, we're getting a better answer this time. Good. Let's see. In PCG in UE5 as a framework. Yep. Enables. Yep. You can build PCG graph and define rules. Yep. Create a PCG graph asset. It doesn't tell you how. Use nodes like create attribute and multiply to set attributes managing mesh size. Again, I had such hope. I had such high hopes because this should know everything about Unreal that it could possibly have. It should know all your nodes. It should be able to read your nodes. It should be able to read if you create a node in a graph, have it read that node. I wanted to know everything. I don't want it sending that information anywhere because there's probably the private projects you don't want it getting out. But on a local level, I wanted to read all that stuff. But this is not a step-by-step setup. So let's change this. I need a step-by-step tutorial on how to set up a fence using PCG. Okay, edit plugins. Okay, search for and enable it. Right-click the content browser. Select create advanced asset PCG. Create advanced asset? This is not a thing. Look, I know that the previous one we're using with UEFN, I get it, and that's why this is a little bit better now. Better is relative. Remember that. Okay, let's add a spline actor to the level, or what do you mean add a spline actor to the level? Hold on. Where am I getting the spline actor from? Where am I getting the spline actor actor from, or your own custom spline actor. You see that like I just added, like from the drop down, there is no spline actor. Okay, add a PCG component to the spline actor in the level, not in the content browser. Assign it. Set up basic PCG nodes and graph. Okay, let's see this part. Okay, right click in the graph and add subdivide spline. Connect input spline from the PCG component. Add a create attribute node. Set double value to 2.0. Represents the fence segment length. Connect to multiply node for scaling size. But it doesn't say to connect it to anything. Is partitioned? Why? This is really bad. Set mesh sampler type to the attribute one. Set the attribute name to mesh. I don't think it ever had me create an attribute for the mesh. So where am I getting this mesh from? There are many steps missing. Please go step by step like I've never used BCG before. It's same links, by the way. It sent me the same links, which means it doesn't even check that it's actually relevant. So here's a detailed step-by-step beginner tutorial to set up procedural fence using BCG in Unreal Engine 5.6, assuming no prior PCG experience. Edit plugins, search for procedural conjugate framework, enable PCG geometry script interop, required for mesh sampling. Why are we mesh sampling? What possible reason would a beginner making a mesh or making a fence need for mesh sampling? Okay, let's continue. Create advanced asset to PCG graph. Again, there's no such thing as create advanced asset. PCG to PCG graph is correct. This is not a thing. In your level, add an actor that contains a spline component or use a spline actor. Again, from where? How? How do I add an actor that also has a spline component? And also, you shouldn't be doing it there. You should be doing it in the content browser so you can have that actor with the spline and all that stuff. Add component, add a BCG component. So same thing as before. Add a subdivide spline node. Why are we adding a subdivide spline node? For reference, this is a grammar node. The reason why this is extremely stupid is because this is a grammar node. It deals with grammar is attribute, grammar string. Well, for PCG, this is not usable. Okay, fine. Let's say PCG, not good. Our previous other test that we did was that we tried to learn how to make a character crouch. Make a new chat. How do I make the default third person character crouch? Bind an input key to crouch, uncrouch. That's the overview. Then use the character movement components crouch functionality. Update the animation blueprint to blend crouch animations. Okay, the overview seems correct. Open third person character blueprint. In the event graph, add a key event for crouch input, example C key. Right click, search for the C key event. From the pressed pin, call crouch. From the release pin, call uncrouch. That will be a hold to crouch, but this should not be telling you to use this. It should be telling me to use enhanced input actions, which this has been deprecated since 5.1. Why is it telling me to use this? Character movement component and enable the property can crouch. Optionally adjust these things. Okay. Configure the animation blueprint. So this one's not terrible, but it's not great. So like it's passable so far. With a third person anim instance, add a bool called B is crouching. In the event graph of animation blueprints, get the character owner cast to third person character. Hold on a second. This is called ABP unarmed. So it asked me for open the third person anim instance. What is the third person anim instance if I don't know about it? It's called anim class. You didn't tell me where to put it. If anything, it should be replacing this cast to character, because then why are we doing two casts then, right? It should replace this. So that's not quite right. Get the character owner. How do we get the character owner? It says get owning actor is the actual node, right? You see where it's falling apart? Where unless you know how to do this and you're just using it as a general guide, like an idea, this is not correct. X is crouching or is crouch state. Set is crouching variable on the state every tick or animation update. Yeah, you would need to for this, right? You would need to do it here, an update animation. I wouldn't do it this way though. In the locomotion, can't you still just access the variables of the parent? I don't do any of checking every frame, but I still have it working. I don't think that every frame is needed. I'm using PaperZD, which is different. It's built on top of the same thing as the main character one. So this is my entire event graph. I just make a reference to my character, and then in the locomotion, you know how I transfer between things? I just check if I have a tag, and this is constantly checking basically, and that's it. I don't need to check per tick. Whenever this finishes, it's checking this transition. Whenever the loop this finishes, it checks the transitions, right? I just use transition. That's all. As I mentioned there, I'm using Paper CD. I'm not using actual characters for my game, so it might be a little bit different. But from my experience, when I pressed a button, it immediately did the animation anyway, just through the transitions and checking whether my character had the specified tag at that moment. Even if it is correct there for regular characters and I'm misremembering, the rest of my points still stand. It is better than the PCG one, but it is still not good. There's one thing that we still wanted to check. I don't think you can do this, but can you read the notes in a blueprint? I think it cannot. It is not a chat bot. I think it is literally just a search thing, not a good one. I don't think it will be able to tell me, like, have a conversation with it. Like, hey, can you read blueprints? So I'm about to find out. Yes, you can read and enumerate the nodes inside a blueprint, but only within Unreal Editor, not a runtime. That's not what I asked. That's not at all what I asked. What nodes are currently in the BP third person character event graph? I don't think it has any information, basically. I'm just confirming. I have zero hope for this one. This is what I want, though. If it's built into Unreal, I want it to read my note. I don't want it to send this information anywhere, though, but I want it to read the notes. You cannot get a direct list of nodes inside a blueprints event category remotely around. Yeah, it cannot help you at all, basically. So to summarize, the AI cannot read any nodes in your graphs at all. Its search functionality isn't very good or accurate, and it is not a chatbot. So you cannot ask it just general questions to maybe get it to explain things differently or anything like that. It will literally only search the information somewhere, and it might be only searching inside of its own documentation, which is lacking as the kindest word I can say. And so it is kind of, well, useless. Just use Grok. If you want good blueprint, PCG, or any kind of help, just use Grok. Or better yet, if you need PCG's help, come and watch my videos. And now that it's been a few days, it's still the same feeling. I am thoroughly disappointed. And I hope that they'll continue working on it and actually get it to be better than the alternatives. Until it is useless. I hate to say it, but it is. It needs to be at least as good as your best competitor. Because if it's not, then why would anyone use it? Convenience, sure, but considering how little information there is already about so much of Unreal stuff, it needs to be good. And we'll see. We'll see with time. Right? Thanks to people like you guys that I'm able to even take a look at this and be here for you guys. So I want to give a big thank you to all my Patreons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for supporting me. And if you'd like to join the community, link to the Discord is down below as always. An actual 5.7 tutorials coming up next week. But in the meantime, check out this one to keep you full until then.